So last time I did a video on the opening chapters of Genesis, we looked at the curses, and we looked how we normally look about how the different parts of the opening chapters of Genesis point forward to Christ, to his resurrection, to his crucifixion, to his ascension, and how the first 11 chapters of Genesis really present us the gospel in some rich ways filled with theological symbolism that the rest of the Bible unpacks and ultimately culminates in the person of Christ. I want to take a minute to talk about what we did last time, the curses, or maybe better said, the judgments or the consequences that Adam and Eve had to face because of their sin. Now, as we saw last time, these consequences, these judgments, they were not just random. God didn't scratch his head and said, okay, what bad way can we, punish these humans with? The connection between the serpent's curse, how the woman's seed would overcome him, and then she has difficulty in labor, but she's still going to be able to have children. And then just as the woman struggles to be fruitful in childbirth, the man is going to be fruitful with the soil because it's returning to dust, but the serpent is cursed to eat the dust. And all three of these judgments interplay in a very peculiar way. With the Satan, it's definitely a direct curse. Adam and Eve, they have to bear curse because of sin, and sin always brings a curse, but it's not a curse in the same way it was for the serpent. For Adam and Eve, there's an element of redemption in it. I want to talk just for a second because we're coming up on a big election, and so everything is very political. Politics is not theology. Theology is not politics, but we do live in God's world, and this is a theological world, even the political parts of it. I was thinking about America, thinking about the biggest tests and trials of America can go all the way back to Genesis 3, our biggest culture wars, our biggest infighting as a nation, go all the way back to Genesis 3. If you just think about the two curses, or the two judgments, the two consequences, the one Adam had to bear and the one Eve had to bear. Think about Adam's for a second. To Adam, it was said, it will be hard for you to work the ground. The ground will yield for you thorns and thistles. You will eat bread by the sweat of your brow. The curse for Adam was that his work in the field would be difficult. It would be painful to get food, to produce fruitfulness out of the soil. Would be a great difficulty. One of the sinful ways men and women have dealt with the consequence of this sin back from Eden has been slavery. You look at the field, it's a big field. I can't harvest all these crops myself. I can't pick all this cotton myself. I can't do all this work myself. Okay, my light lamp just went off. There we go. I can't do it all myself. So what do we do to ease the burden? What do we do to minimize the curse? What do we do to minimize the judgments from Eden? Well, slavery. Well, I still want to eat, but I don't want to have to work that whole field myself. So I'll buy and own another human being to do the hardest bit of the work for me, to bear the brunt of the work for me. I'll still work, but not as hard as I would have to. And I still get to eat food. I'll have someone else do it for me. I will eat more food. They will eat less food. They will do more work. I will do less work. Slavery has been one of the sinful ways we have tried to mitigate the effects of the curse on Adam. Now, back in the middle of the 19th century, America, at least legally, got through that. Slavery is illegal now in our nation. Now, I know there's still human trafficking. That all still happens, but it has to happen in the dark. It has to happen in a hidden manner because we've agreed not to allow it to be legal, at least, which is not the whole victory. And the whole victory is no slavery at all, but at least it's not legal. We passed that, but we're still in the midst of Eve's judgment. What was the curse on Eve? In sorrow you will conceive, and in great difficulty you will labor and bring forth children. Eve's curse is the difficulty, the pain, the trauma associated with conception, associated with childbirth. And just like we used slavery to mitigate the effects of unwanted labor, we have abortion used to mitigate the effects of unwanted pregnancies. And we've come to a resolution and a conclusion on slavery. Unfortunately, it took a civil war for us to get there. I'm not saying it couldn't have been done otherwise. I'm just saying that's the way it was done. But we haven't got to the place where, as a nation, where we can say abortion is an unacceptable way to deal with the difficulties and the pains and the traumas associated with conception and childbirth. We've passed the Adam test. We are still in the midst of the drama of Eve's test. In our state of Nebraska, where I live, we've got a big referendum coming up. Actually, two referendums. One to enshrine full late term all the way up to 9 months abortion into our state constitution as an amendment, and another one to begin. It's weaker than I would like it to be, but it's to at least begin to give some human rights to unborn children, at least in the second and third trimester. I'd like it to be stronger than it is, but hey ho, it's early days. Despise not the day of small beginnings. So, guys, this is something we need to be praying about. This is a test for our nation. Will we pass? Will we get through? Will it cost us? Will we have to pay the price of a civil war to get through this one, as we did with the issue of slavery? Don't know. Hope not. Hope not. But all Christians should make this a matter for prayer. God bless. And we will be back looking at Adam and Eve kicked out of the garden and the sword and how that points us forward to Christ next time.